How's she rolling today? I am headed to Kaz right now to pick up the parts, the correct ones, for the 7200R. If you recall in the last video, the brake parts that I had ordered back in, it was actually October 19th, for the 7200 were the wrong ones. They were actually for a 7200, not a 7200R. So we seem to be stretching this job out as far as how much you're gonna see of it in a video. I think this is the third video that I've done with doing this brake job. This should only be a one video job, but at any rate, we're milking it for all it's worth. So it's Saturday morning. We were lucky to be able to get the parts because we had a snowstorm that came in. It was late Thursday afternoon, about 3-4 o'clock it started snowing. A lot of the schools were closed here yesterday, and the roads really weren't all that great until about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. A lot of the parts that we order, if Kaz doesn't have them in stock, they come out of Grimsby, which is in and around Ontario, Canada. And sometimes they have issues with coming across customs. Not a lot, but we kind of figured there would be a delay somewhere along the lines due to weather-related problems. The brake discs, John Deere did not have any of those in stock. However, Kaz had 2 of them on the shelf, so we lucked out there. The other option they could have had, or the other option they had as far as getting brake discs, is trying to find a dealer that had them in stock and seeing if they would release them. The whole bummer of this job is we have this already tore apart and the tractor's kind of tying up some space in the shop, but as it goes here, we're able to get these parts. Now yesterday I had a procedure done to my right leg, and I've got to have my left leg done after the first of the year. I had varicose veins removed. God, it was before Jared was born. It must have been 25 years ago. I had varicose veins in both legs that had been removed then, and then for the past couple years, when I get in the house at night, usually my lower leg down in below my knee is swelled up so much, it's usually real irritated. It itches like crazy. And I finally went and had my leg looked at. I do have problems with my right ankle too. I've sprained that quite a few times, and it seems like the more of the flare-up I get in my leg, and it's from standing on concrete all day long, it seems like the more swelling I have in my lower leg, that's when my ankle bothers the most. The procedure that was done yesterday was a procedure where they go in with a laser, and they had burned some of the actual trunk line of the vein, and then they remove the branches down below the knee that they weren't working anymore, and they pulled them out. I have ace bandage on my leg that goes from my toes all the way up to just above my knee. They didn't put any stitches in, but there's quite a few cuts in the leg where they pulled the veins out from the lower extremity of my leg down in below my knee. The procedure, it was just a local anesthetic that was put in the different areas of my leg down through. I was awake for the whole procedure. It took basically, it took about 35 to 40 minutes for him to perform this. They used a large gauge needle to go into the vein. They went in with that large gauge needle, went right into the vein. Then he used like it was a stiff piece of, I want to say it was plastic, and he fished that piece of plastic up through the vein, up into the height, a few inches down below my groin, and then he fished in, or he put in a tube that went over the top of that like piece of plastic. It wasn't wire, but it was a solid piece of plastic. Then he went over that with a tube, and then that tube he was able to push the laser up through. The laser wasn't much more, it wasn't bigger, really any bigger than, say, the ball point on a ballpoint pen. It was about that size, real tiny thing. He fished that up through. He used a like what they use for sonogram, kind of an x-ray like type thing, but a sonogram type device. He could go in on my leg, find out where that laser was, and then he zapped the vein, and that, there was a little bit of pain, not much. It felt like a needle going in, and then he zapped the vein, and then he very carefully pulled that laser out. And as he pulled the laser out, he had to extract blood out of the vein, the nurse did. And then once he got down to where the incision line was put in, I don't know if he zapped it there too or not, but from there down below it is where he pulled out all of the veins. Had to keep making incisions with every couple of inches with a razor blade, and then he pulled the veins out. It looked like a little crochet tool that he hooked onto the veins and pulled them out of the leg. They were about as big as like maybe the plastic coating on a 14 gauge wire, maybe. They were, and he was pulling them out in like 2-inch pieces. So we've got that procedure done. I was able to feed cows. My wife took me. I could not drive on the way home, but I'm driving right now. And he said I could resume normal activities, you know, 6 to 12 hours after the procedure was done. Jared helped me feed cows this morning, and we're back to the basic work, I guess. So again, I get the other leg done after the first of the year. I think it's January 4th I get that done. I asked him if I could video it, so maybe he'll let me do some video shots of the procedure that they do to my left leg. Hopefully that helps out with the swelling in my leg, or legs. The right leg was worse than the left one, so we'll just have to see, I guess. So we're just rolling through Lafayette now. We'll get into Casanova. I've got some parts to return. We'll pick up the parts that we need. We'll get back to the shop and get that 7200 together. The boys are widening the 7730. We'll talk about that when we get back to the shop. Well, we're just getting ready to pull into Kaz, and it was 2 weeks ago today when the 9560 went down, and then I brought it in on a Monday, so it was 12 days ago when I was here last, and they had a 9900 chopper sitting out front, but that is gone. They must have sold it. So we'll run inside here. I've got to return some parts and pick up some new ones. So So we'll join up with you in a little while. We'll do a drive around here once we get figured out here. Well, we'll just kind of make a quick sweep through the lot here. Oh, they've got that spreader there. We are thinking about trading the 8124 for that. We're just waiting on a price. Salesman said that that had just recently come in. And then this 9570, I don't know if that belongs to a customer or if that is for sale, but I gotta get my I put my seatbelt on so that you guys wouldn't hear a bunch of danging. But I don't know if that's for sale or if it's a customer's tractor. Could be a customer's. I know one guy that does have one of them. And we got a real nice 4320. It looks just like the one we have. Looks like the front tires are bigger though. But yeah, and a 7810. I think those are customers' tractors. I know for a fact that 7810, I'm pretty sure that belongs to a customer. We'll just make one more sweep through here. I don't know what that is there. That's 8400R. I think they've had that for a while. I'm pretty sure that is for sale. Open cab 318G. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll just make another sweep up through the decent looking row here. Oh, that is Duffy Farms. That's who I thought it was. It's Travis Duffy's tractor. Unless he traded it, I don't know. But yeah. All right, we're gonna head back to the farm. Actually, we're gonna stop where the combine is put away, and we're going to throw that exhaust pipe piece in the cab so that I don't forget to replace that when we go to use it next year. As you can see, we've got some snow. They've got the same amount of snow here that we have at home. I know you're probably asking why are you on a parts run? Well, it is Saturday and these guys do deliver parts Monday through Friday, and that's why we're making this trip out today, so that we can take advantage of the time this weekend and get that tractor back together. So it's a nice quiet Saturday. There wasn't anybody in the shop. I was gonna walk out and look at the 9560. There ain't much to look at, but there wasn't anybody out there. So, but we'll stop at the combine and we'll see how many mice we have in the bucket. So we'll join up with you when we get into a Tisco. Well, we're over here to the combine. This is the exhaust pipe that I need. I did jump up in the engine compartment to confirm that that is the right one, because we don't want to get into June or July here and realize it's the wrong one. So if I leave it in the cab, that will remind me that I need to replace that. So here's our bait pail here, and we have one critter down in there. So that's all we have caught so far, and it's been, I don't know, 5-6 days now. Anyway, since we parked this away. So we'll go ahead and get back to the shop. It's dark in here, and start working on that 7200. Well, we're back here to the shop. Here are the brake parts here. And the parts ended up coming out to be about $2,700 to do this brake job on this tractor. This is a 7730 here. We had the wheels in narrow to be able to plant corn. In other words, the tires were able to drive between the 30-inch corn rows. We're moving this out to as wide as we can run this. What we want to be able to do is we're going to put it on a mixer wagon. Duals are going to be removed from it. They've got the outer axle hub all the way out, and then they've moved the inner wheel out as far as it can go until it hits the axle hub. Now, there is a John Deere adapter tool that will reach in and it will tighten them bolts up. Right now, they're only able to use wrenches to get in there because you cannot get a ratchet in there. This tool is part number JDG679. You put that on your bolt, then you can put a 3/4 inch breaker bar or ratchet in on this square end here. They have a couple of these, couple of different ones. This is actually in the tractor owner's manual. There is a straight one that they have too. Don't ask me what the part number is because I don't know what it is, but this will fit right in. You can get in there with the dual on there. It fits right in like that. You can very easily get the job done, just like so. Usually I take the hub right off completely, but they were able to do this one with that outer hub on there just by using this tool here. There you go, you want that? So this tractor will be done here in a little while. It does need a bath. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on this tractor here. Now, yesterday when I was gone getting my procedure done, a gentleman and his wife stopped in from Canada, a viewer, and he had just gotten, I don't know if he had been through the cancer stuff or if he's still got cancer or what, but he didn't leave his name, and I do wish him the best of luck. Jared did give him a grand tour. He also dropped off some goodies. He dropped off a 24 pack of Molson Canadian. He dropped off some Canada Dry, which I'm gonna use that in the bottle of rye that I have over the house. He dropped off a packet of Kit Kats. This stuff was all right from Canada, and here in the States, our Kit Kats they've got a different wrapper on them, and these even taste different. Another thing he dropped off was these candies called Smarties. The Smarties that we have, they're a tarty type candy, aren't they? These are like an M&M, and they've got chocolate in the center of them. They're pretty good. So whoever it was that stopped in here yesterday, drop your name down below so I can officially thank you. But Jared gave him the tour, and Andrew said hello too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Just said your name. I'm sorry, I forgot it.
No. He had gotten through cancer, or is he dealing with it, or?
He had watched your videos while he had cancer and
done the chemo and stuff. Hopefully he's gotten through it.
Possible to come back.
Yeah.
There's some truck driving stories and farm some tobacco and whatnot.
Huh. Yeah. Well, they're going to finish this up. They got to put the studs back in for the duals. Stuff that in the hub. And we got to get this thing washed. And we can put it on the mixer wagon. We do have chains on the mixers, on the mixer tractors, but the chains only get you part of the way there. It's a pain in the butt. So we're going to put these two tractors here on the mixer wagons. We'll leave the chains on the other two tractors and just use them on manure pumps and whatever. So we better get to work here. Well, we've got this ready to go back together. We have a new piston in there. We've got both the backing plate, the brake disc, and then the outer plate here. That's all in there. And we've got the surface, the mating surface area all cleaned up. We've got our anaerobic seal on there. And when I separated this ended up coming away from the actual final drive. This is the ring gear itself. And on one of the other tractors we did, this didn't get disrupted, so we didn't have to separate it apart. We're able to leave it together, but however, this moved apart a little bit, and I figured that mating surface was compromised. Now, we have noticed that this ring gear, I don't know, it must get hot enough to burn that paint off. I don't know. But there's no paint left on that, and a couple of the other tractors have been, that we've noticed them like that as well. We might as well take a peek at this 7730. We did brakes on this. Oh, this is so dirty that we did brakes on this the same. Now that one's discolored too. We did brakes on this tractor just after we did this one here 2.5 years ago. So we'll go ahead and try to get this on there. We've got to get it all, not really timed, but we've got to get it to match that gear there on the center of this planetary here. We want this keyway at the top so that it kind of matches our wheel, but we can hook a chain wrench on there and use the chain wrench to turn the axle back and forth to try to get it timed with that shaft there. I know some guys have said they don't take the wheel off, they use the forklift underneath there. They just take the forklift and come right underneath the set of duals, pull the final drive and take it all off as one. But I just figured that it's so much monkeying around that if you get that off and it doesn't want to line up, then you've got all these pieces that you have to start taking apart to get to where we're at. Another guy said that he takes the rim off of the cast center hub, hangs it from the center hub to get it to go in as well. But here is the problem there. You're going to be hanging from that center hub. You've only got about 18 inches to 2 foot of travel with the forks, and the chain wouldn't be long enough, I don't think, to be able to hang it, to be able to play with it. But oh well, we'll keep doing it the way we're doing it, which is probably wrong. So we'll go ahead and try to get this on there. All right, we've got this final drive on there. It took us a couple of attempts to get it to line up, but it went after a while. We've got the cab mount bolted back into place. I have removed the hydraulic filter. We're gonna go ahead and put a new one on there. And I also went and pulled out the sump filter. The sump filter comes out of this spot right here, and I have it setting in my hand. I just sprayed it with some brake clean, got it cleaned up. There wasn't a horrible amount of debris in it, but you just never know. So we've got that pulled out. We're gonna go ahead and put that back together, put a new filter on, make sure our O-rings on them steel lines are in good shape, and we can then go ahead and put the wheel on, let it down, move the jacks over, jack the other side up, and do the same thing to the other side. So we'll go ahead and get this side here buttoned up, and then we'll join up with you when we get the other side tore apart. Well, we've got the left side all back together. Got the inner wheel on, put the dual hub on, but we're not going to put the duals back on until spring. So we've got this right side apart now, and we're gonna go ahead and see if this side is as bad as the left side was. When we did this job 2.5 years ago, the left side was worse than the right. Usually when the amateurs are running this stuff, they clip the brake pedals together, but they still put their foot on the left pedal because it's closer, because their little legs can't get too far apart from each other and they can't pay attention. So when they push on the left pedal, it's kind of twisting the brake pedal frame a little bit, and it'll put the pressure to the left side first. That is my theory. Anyway, so we've got all of the bolts removed except for one on that final drive housing. We'll pull that bolt out, wiggle it loose, back it away from there, and we'll see what things look like. We could get things cleaned up and then start the assembly back over again. Now you're probably wondering what's going on here. Well, this is our Mensch sand truck. This is what we put sand in the stalls in the barn. It's got a, oh, I don't know, it holds about 8 ton. Sand goes in the back, comes up to this comes up through to the front to this belt here, and we could spit it to either side for bedding stalls. This bed we ended up putting on here a couple of years ago, and the whole truck is about ready to be replaced. Nate's doing an oil change on this. This has a John Deere engine in her, and it was due for an oil change, right? Yeah. So that's what's going on here. So let's go ahead and get this final drive pulled apart. Yep, and this side is just like new. I mean, this brake disc has got a little bit of wear to it, but not much. So I'm not even sure if I'm only going to replace, boy, thinking about just replacing just the brake disc itself and returning the piston and the two plates there that go to either side of it. But boy, if there was a way to get inside here to look at what you have, this would save taking this side apart. Shouldn't even, boy, it didn't have to come apart, but oh well. Well, we've got this side just about back together. We got the new parts installed into the axle housing there. We've got the axle cleaned up. We've got our cab mount back on. Now we're just getting ready to put this inner wheel on. We'll get that tight, put the hub on there, and then that'll finish up this right hand side here. I did end up moving the axle a little bit, which I don't like to do, but it accidentally happened, and it looks like we're almost going to be able to line up this keyway here that's in the hub. So we'll get that on there, get it tight, get the axle hub or the dual hub on there. We can get this side here done. Well, we've got this all together. Now we're just going to move it out of place here so that we can put some kitty litter down on the floor to get that oil spot dried up. It holds 190 quarts of oil. We put 180 into it. We'll move it out of the way, test the brakes on it, make sure everything works like it's supposed to. And then in the morning, I want to clean this tractor up a little bit and get it ready for its next assignment. So we'll go ahead and make sure the brakes work and get it parked over in a dry spot, maybe over by that door over there.
Tim said he was going to on top of me. No, I didn't know if you had there needs help with that.
Two-wheel peel. Well, it looks like the brakes work, so I'm gonna push some of that oil dry stuff over on that spot right there and then put some more down, and tomorrow we'll get that thing cleaned up and start on the next project. So that is gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you at the next one.